Now, I don't want you to think, folks, that there aren't real issues out there. Real issues in need of real solutions. That we have to look to people better than us for, people who can deal with the complexities of these issues. We got to look to them for these solutions, because you and I can't come up with these things. We don't even understand these problems. That's why we have to go with people like Bongino, because not only is he looking still, futilely, it seems, for a teepee for his bunghole, but he's actually found a purpose behind what's in it. This is a video titled "The Other Food Crisis That Nobody Is Talking About." Now that's going to be a tough one. The other food crisis that no one is talking. What have we talked about? Swine flu, bird flu. We talked about obviously grain shortages because of Ukraine, Russia, corn for E15. Let's see. I'm sure there's a discussion. There's some dish that he's worried he won't be able to. You know, some of the biggest complaints from Glenn Beck are there are certain kinds of dog food not available. Bongino is, we'll see what does Bongino eat that is no longer going to be available. Let's see.
Making matters even worse.
Making matters even worse than they were.
We are in a fertilizer crisis too.
Oh, all right. Bongino eats fertilizer. It checks out, actually. I have to say, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
If you have any doubt whatsoever, what I'm telling you is true.
Well, I mean, then you've obviously been watching his show.
Please double check. Check with a friend of yours involved.
Yes, check with your friends who know fertilizer.
Involved in the ag industry.
In the ag industry.
Anywhere. From
anyone.
Fertilizer to tractor equipment to actual farming. Ask
anybody if they're in the fertilizer business, obviously they'll have top tier knowledge. If they just have a tractor, they've heard about it. And if they actually farm, they're on the front and back line of it.
Ask them about the fertilizer crisis.
Ask them about the fertilizer crisis.
It is real.
Mm-hmm.
They can't get their hands on fertilizer.
Why do you lick your lips every time you say fertilizer is the concern?
It comes from synthetic fertilizers come from petroleum products. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Oil and gas. Yes, that's where a lot of it comes from. There is a huge problem. So Dr. Ben Braddock.
Yes, tell us the solution, because it comes out of Russia. Russia makes a lot of the world's fertilizer.
Who I follow on social media, put out a really disturbing tweet. He says, listen, this crisis could get ugly. Are we going to start spraying human waste on the fields?
Does this corn smell funny to you? Well, shit. Now you got my attention. Come on, man. Come on, little human waste ain't never hurt nobody. You know what I mean? That's like corn on your corn. It's weird because my human waste, and I appreciate you using the fine cityfied term about that, already has corn in it. You doubling up.
I'll show you his tweet in a second,
but don't show me his human waste.
Oh, no, this doesn't happen. Oh, no, it does.
Oh, no, yeah, it does. Oh, no, it doesn't. Yes. Oh, no. Yes. No.
Sewage sludge. Here's an article.
Sewage sludge repackaged as garden fertilizer, test positive for toxic chemicals. Well, I did not need to be told that. And my goodness. I'm going to have to call in somebody that can look this up. Hold on. Sewage sludge. Mm-hmm. Hold on. We grab this. Take this little guy. Ahem. Sewage sludge repackaged as garden fertilizer. Oh, here it is. Ecori. Here you go. This is the article. Hold on. Ecori. Get the hell. This mouse is so weird. Okay, let me grab this. Right. Oh, I like their. Look how green and fun. Look at this. This is way more fun. Eco-rye. Frank Carini wrote this up February 22nd. February 10th, 2022. Sewage sludge repackaged as garden fertilizer tests positive for toxic chemicals. Even got a little cartoon right here. PFAs used in manufactured landfill dumped into wastewater. Leachate from landfills contaminates groundwater in our homes. PFAs both go down the drain into the trash. Contaminated wastewater goes to treatment plants. Sewage sludge, biosolids contaminated with PFAs used as fertilizer on farms, dairies, and home gardeners. PFAs contaminates food and garbage. And these three people are living with all of it. Sewage sludge that many wastewater treatment facilities lightly treat and then sell throughout the United States as home fertilizer contains concerning levels of controversial substances. Last year, the Sierra Club and the Michigan-based Ecology Center found toxic and polyfluoroalkyl substances known as PFASs or forever chemicals in 9 fertilizers made from sewage sludge, commonly called biosolids and ingredient lists, and mapped businesses selling sludge-based fertilizers and compost for home use. Well, compost for home use outside the home, one would think. I'm just saying. Okay, let me shrink this down a little bit because it's not all in here. Hold on. There we go. Okay, that's better. 8 of the 9 products tested. By the way, who thinks that Bongholio wants more regulations about this kind of stuff? Let's see. Overall, there are many as 5,000 of these chemical compounds in the market today. They persist in the environment, in our bloodstreams. This is shit that's been going on. This is about plastics and leftover solids. This is they're used in electronics, fighting foam, anti-fogging sprays, waterproof clothing, used in electronics, waxes, microwave popcorn bags. Some pizza boxes and countless other. They have seeped into drinking water supplies in both Rhode Island and Massachusetts. Sludge in the garden, toxic PFAs in home fertilizers made from sewage sludge. Noted many of the products from sewage sludge are labeled as eco, natural, or organic, even though they come from people poo-poo. Let's see. Open link in new tab. PFA garden sludge. May 25th, 2021. You think this problem started in May of last year? Huh? This all of a sudden started happening? Does this asshole... This is an article reference to a report. There you go. A year ago about stuff that was happening before that. Right. The Biden administration is putting chemicals in your shit that's making it onto your food. Biden wants to shit on your hot dog personally. That's the story that this asshole wants to tell. Look at this. Look at the shock in his face. Dude, we know about this stuff. It's concerning, of course. What the fuck does that have to do with we're going to have to start using sewer sludge, and that already is problematic. Unlike petrochemicals from fucking Russia.
Twitter thread about this from EcoRI. Sewage sludge repackaged as garden fertilizer tests positive for toxic chemicals. Read the link.
Oh my God. I did. Yeah, I brought it up. Yeah, they're talking about like plasticizers, that kind of stuff that works its way through your system. Connecticut doesn't allow the use of biosolids as fertilizer, meaning people poo-poo. Again, why is this a panic? Forever chemicals, which may be highly toxic to humans, are virtually unregulated, meaning industries are legally allowed to flush PFAs down wastewater drains where they settle out in the solid materials during wastewater treatment. The report's authors have called for strict regulation of sludge for the industry to address its PFAS waste and regulators to impose limits for the entire class of PFAS compounds instead of just a few. I'm for it. Look at us, Dan Bongino. We're both agreeing. Government action should be taken. The Biden administration can pass a law. I'm sure a House Republican would love to pass a bill through Congress, a bipartisan piece of legislation to limit the amount of biosolids in wastewater sludge-based fertilizers for home planting and whether or not you can call it organic. Knock yourself the fuck out. And we're supposed to believe that Dan Bongino gives a rat fuck about what the Sierra Club feels?
It is disgusting. What is
Well, that's just because you're easily icked, as most conservatives are.
in this stuff?
Yeah. The shit isn't the problem, dummy. It's like, there's human poop in this. Like, that's not what we're talking about.
So Dr. Benjamin, he's at Graduated Ben. That's his Twitter feed, at Graduated Ben. Listen to this. You want to recoil in horror? Due to the fertilizer shortage, we're going to see a big expansion in municipal sewage being sprayed on fields as a fertilizer. Oh.
See, he's not upset about the PFASs, the pharmaceuticals, the viruses and heavy metals. It's just human shit versus petrochemicals or animal shit. Seriously, what a dumbass. He's grossed out by the fact that you use shit as fertilizer. Welcome to Earth, asshole.
Disgusting. He said,
why is it disgusting? Why is human shit any different than animal shit if you're using it as fertilizer? Where the fuck do you think stuff goes like this? Is this one of these assholes who thinks that like your wastewater just evaporates and becomes magic? Like it becomes the silver lining on clouds. That's where our poop goes after we say bye-bye.
Says this is the most pollutant-rich man-made substance on Earth. It contains everything from PFASs to PFAs to
both.
Excuse me, to pharmaceuticals.
Yeah, you're excused.
To viruses to heavy metals.
He's still grossed out by the fact that it's just poop.
Human sludge, folks.
Yeah, see? He doesn't give a fuck. It's like pharmaceuticals, PFASs. I don't know what that is. It's poo-poo. It's poop. It's probably ugh.
You sure you want that? Here's it.
As opposed to petrochemicals? The fuck are you talking about?
New York Times. 2003. Sludge.
Oh, 2003.
Spread on fields is fodder for lawsuits. I want to read. Please hang with me. This is.
Yeah, we're anytime you're talking shit, we're here.
It's about 3 paragraphs, but
okay, yeah, we'll deal with it.
I want you to listen to this about.
Yes, in 2003.
About human sludge on our food.
On our food. Asshole, what are you talking about? Do you not, first of all, is this the moment where we find out that not only does Bongholio not wash his food when he gets it home from the grocery store, but he thinks nobody washes it along the way, or he counts on it? The fuck?
This is from the New York Times, by the way, back in 2003. So none of this is new. The farmers outside Augusta, Georgia say the hay had a musty chemical odor and was dark and mottled, but they fed it to the cows.
Because they're idiots.
Then the cows started to waste away, growing so thin their ribs could be counted through their skin, the dairy farmers say. The cows died by the hundreds.
And yet they continued to feed them the rotten hay.
We couldn't save them, said the farmer whose family had been farming here since 1946. The cows wouldn't respond to antibodies. They wouldn't respond to IV fluids. They wouldn't respond to anything. They just ended up dying. The McEmelrys and the Boyce family, which owns another farm in the area, Boyceland Dairy, blamed the fertilizer they used in their hay fields. It was processed sewer sludge from the city of Augusta, which they say was tainted by industrial waste from surrounding factories.
Yeah. Not only was it human shit, but it was like, wait, there are factories in America? I thought they all went to Mexico.
Disgusting.
He's still just disgusted it's poop. He doesn't give a fuck about the industrial waste. Motherfucker, you're talking about petroleum-based fertilizers, which is a secondary biochemical waste product of oil drilling that they are using. What the hell?
Let's go, Brandon.
What the fuck? It's 2003, fucko. What do you mean, let's go, Brandon?
Folks, not only does this have the potential to contaminate our food supply, this is another thing I need you to call your congressman about today. Ask him what we're doing about this now.
Yes, call them and ask them about, you read a story from 2003 about industrial waste in Augusta, Georgia, and you're worried that the lack of petroleum-based fertilizer will lead us to just dumping human sewage untreated onto farmland in mass.
You want human sludge all over your food?
Gosh, that's a tough question. Can you give me a second? All over my food? I mean, I don't mind a mix of sweet and savory.
Here's a Florida Today article from back in 2019. Again, linked in his thread. You can read yourself.
Yeah, 2019. I don't remember who was president then. You'll have to remind me.
Sewage sludge central. Officials fear waste from other communities threatens the water supply.
What the fuck does this have to do with anything? Practice now under fire for water managers potentially harmful local drinking water. Yes, leaking untreated sewage getting into the water supply, usually considered a negative. So you're telling me that while DeSantis was governor and Trump was president, and I guess in 2 years leading up to that, South Florida sewer plants were exporting sewage remnants, and north to Brevard and other Central Florida counties, the practice now under fire with water managers potentially harmful local drinking water, several miles upstream of Melbourne's main drinking water source. Trucks spread the sludge to fertilize pastures. Like, this is fucking new. What are you talking about? That's exactly why they stopped this.
Food, your water too. For at least 5 years, South Florida, where I live, the sewer plants have been exporting their sewage remnants.
Ah, I see. So something's in the water that's making you this way. It's all coming clear.
Biosolids or sludge north to Brevard and other Central Florida counties. That practice is now under fire by water managers as being potentially harmful for local drinking water. They found this stuff upstream. They note that Melbourne's main drinking water source, trucks spread the sludge to fertilize pastures.
Right. In Florida. Already. For years.
Research by regional water managers suggests that disposing these biosolids on rural lands could be poisoning Lake Washington and other Central Florida lakes where the city draws their tap water.
Again, listen to this fucking idiot. He's just concerned that there's poo-poo that might be getting into his water. He has not, like, the idea that they're not warning you about the shit part. The shit part is not a problem. The earth absorbs shit all the time. That's not the issue. It's the permanent chemicals that they're concerned about. And this dickhead is always like, oh my God, then taking poo-poo from down south in Florida, putting it on northern Florida, and then the poo-poo is running down the state.
Really, outside of me and Tucker, I haven't heard much about, am I missing this? I don't want to be dramatic.
Yes, you are being, hold on. Now, here's the story. Okay. Let me find a good. This is the root of what he's talking about. Okay. Fertilizer shortage worsened by war in Ukraine is driving up global food prices and scarcity. Farmers are seeing prices for fertilizer skyrocket. Some may choose to rotate crops or use less nutrients, which could reduce crop yields. All of this is a double whammy, if not a triple whammy, said a commodity strategist. We have a geopolitical risk, higher input costs, and basically shortages worldwide. The United States isn't going to experience this like everybody else, but A fertilizer shortage has added to the growing concerns about Ukraine's war. Combined with Russia and Belarus, provide about 40% of the world's exports of potash. According to Morgan Stanley, Russia's exports were hit by sanctions. Further, in February, a major Belarus producer declared force majeure, a statement that it couldn't be able to uphold its contracts due to forces beyond its control, meaning that Russia was basically taking them. Russia also exported 11% of the world's urea. Obviously, most of this goes to Dan Bongino's house for the showers. 40% of the ammonium nitrate, and Russian grains export 28% of fertilizer made from nitrogen and phosphorus, as well as potassium. Disruptions of these shipments due to sanctions and war has sent fertilizer prices skyrocketing. High grain prices are rising even more. They're going to get it from elsewhere. This is just a temporary lag. There's nobody on the fucking planet that is going, we don't have enough potash. I guess we just live without until Russia gets its shit together. Like, nobody operates like that. Michigan has a shit ton of potash. We just don't go for it because the process has been unwieldy. Huge problem. Confidence. Hold on. I'll show you what I mean. Give me 1 second. Meanwhile, this jackass, Michigan. This guy right here. So notice, remember how I told you that there's a bunch of, let's see, to dismiss. Okay. When does this go? What's the date on this? Yep, here we go. I told you that we're heading into a deflationary cycle because most of our monetary issues are caused by supply issues, not by, monetary issues. And what happens is if there's very little of something, everybody can make it, everybody can get it, but they haven't because of something like COVID. The price goes up because people want to be at the first of the line. They want it before somebody else, so they're willing to pay more for it. And then everybody notices how high the prices are, and they start ramping up production. Well, everybody worldwide does that at the same time and floods the market with a bunch of stuff, and then the price crashes. It's happened before, it'll happen again, and it's happening with a lot of these things. The same thing will be true of fertilizer and potash, because everybody's like, oh shit, look at the fertilizer prices, and it's just stuff that's in the ground. Meanwhile, it doesn't even take that much to get back to that number. The amount we get from Russia, we get a lot of it. We get 40% from there. Like, it's a big number, but it's not in terms of just overall physical volume and impossibility. Okay. Why Michigan is pumping $50 million into a private potash operation. Located at least 7,000 feet underground, a massive mineral deposit left behind by ancient evaporated seas could be the key to a new billion-dollar industry in Michigan. Now, I know what you're thinking. This fuckwad would rather get the potash from Russia, and we need to stop this war immediately so we don't inconvenience people or charge people anything more for a time overseas so the money can continue to flow into Russia after we're done. Fuck Michigan and the idea that Michigan could make up this entire gap and supply this. This is not like liquid natural gas. LNG is really hard. Natural gas is really hard just to get. You have to transport it when it doesn't go through a pipeline is a pain in the ass. You have to liquefy it. There's processing plants too, on both ends of it. It's a big deal. None of that is true of potash. You pull it out, refine it slightly, and fucking put it on a goddamn boat, like a coal barge. It looks like that. It's not complicated, not in that way. Located at least 7,000 feet underground, a massive mineral deposit left behind by ancient evaporated seas could be the key to a new billion-dollar industry in Michigan. Governor Gretchen Whitmer on Wednesday signed a nearly $5 billion bipartisan spending deal that includes $50 million state subsidy for the Michigan Potash and Salt Company. The private firm is finalizing plans for a $1.1 billion development in Osceola County to drill, extract, and commercialize part of a potassium ore deposit that stretches an estimated 2.9 million acres beneath 8 Michigan counties. The deposit contains salt and potassium chloride, commonly known as potash, a critical and increasingly costly component of fertilizers used in farms across the country, but primarily imported from Canada, Russia, and Belarus. The Michigan deposit might just be the richest of its kind in the world, according to geologists at Western Michigan University. But the challenge, experts say, is getting the minerals out of the ground and doing so without causing long-lasting environmental damage. Yeah, because we give a shit. One of the reasons why we get this stuff from Russia is because nobody in Russia gives a rat fuck what happens to the ground over there. Most of these things, like most of the what we would think of as rare earth minerals, for example, which aren't rare at all, but the process of getting them out can be toxic. So we'd rather have it done where there aren't a lot of people around. And Russia does a lot of that because they got a lot of shit land. They got a lot of permafrosted, Siberian land where they get this stuff. The firm has already won environmental permits to drill 8 Michigan wells and pump them full of groundwater, which is expected to dissolve rock and create brine. Once extracted, the brine will be dried to produce potash and salt. Residual wastewater will be pumped back down and deep underground into 3 disposal wells for permanent storage. Look, there goes all your poo-poo water. You'll be happy, Bongholio. A $50 million in-state funding may help the company clear a final financial hurdle to begin its what otherwise a shovel-ready project that could be operational in 3 years. It's amazing that we have it just right here in our backyard, he said of the potassium deposit. Coalition of clean water advocacy groups have urged Whitmer to veto the funding, arguing the potash operation will draw too much water from local aquifers and jeopardize local wetlands. They also contend a potential brine leak could create an unnecessary environmental risk compared to the environmental risk that's ongoing because we manage it versus what Russia does is ridiculous. It's sort of a selfish kind of thing. Plus, Michigan doesn't have that problem in central Michigan. If it did, they would have gotten rid of the Line 5 pipeline a long time ago. We shouldn't be giving state money to private investor with a very questionable operation in mind. Citizens for Water Conservation, a grassroots group based in neighboring Mecosta County, said the damage that can occur just in the process of trying to construct something like this is going to be massive. But geologists and state regulators say modern engineering techniques minimize those risks, and the company says it plans to recycle groundwater by reusing at least 90% from each withdrawal as part of a closed-loop system. The development has powerful backers in Lansing, including House Republican Speaker Jason Wentworth of Farwell, who called it an obvious choice to spend $50 million in state money on the plant facility. By the way, the rest of the money is largely coming from the infrastructure project and private investment. And this is like an enormous draw that ultimately, I mean, everything below this point is, has relative toxicity. So, but this asshole wants you to believe that America's a failed state and we're spraying shit on our food because they did it poorly in Florida in 2003, and he's having an ick panic.
I have not seen any widespread cover, right? Of this. I know why. Because they don't want to add the media, that is, doesn't want to add another damaging black eye to Biden. Hey,
what the fuck are you talking about? How is this a damaging black eye to Biden? The whole world is chasing the potash that's been removed from the market because of Russia. What the fuck does this have to do with Biden?
Screwed up the border, he screwed up the economy, he screwed up your money, screwed up your water supply, screwed up your food.
Based on what, fucko? Did you not drink any water today, Bongholio, because it had a turd floating in it? Are you not eating right now? Because it screwed up your food?
But this is kind of a big deal. And
yeah, but only if you're fucking stupid.
Not in a Ron Burgundy way. I
have no personality or charmless and idiotic?
I am extremely concerned, given what I went through health-wise, about what goes into my body.
And the rest of us are what? Fucking, well, it wouldn't be chopped liver. That'd probably be good for us.
And as my wife said yesterday, we don't have time to cook every meal. I don't hear. What
do you mean? What are you doing? Eating raw chicken? We don't have time to cook every meal. Sometimes we have to get it right from the farm, and it's got a turd on it. You just push it out of the way, and sometimes we just pull over and run into a farmer's field and just grab corn and start gnawing on it. So you've been known to bite a cow, honey, right in the ass.
Sometimes we have to order these takeout stuff.
Yeah, and we don't know where. I mean, we don't know how many turds could be. What the fuck?
We generally eat healthy. A lot of fish, a lot of vegetables.
And luckily, the fish can, they can dodge the poo.
Folks, I don't have time to sit there and look for the organic label on every single thing.
Well, according to the article you just showed us, they're calling human waste organic, dummy. It wouldn't save you anyways. The fuck's wrong with you?
If it's in our water supply, this is just really horrifying stuff.
Dude, you live in Florida. I'm sorry, in any of this time, has there been a Democratic governor of Florida that perpetuated this shit?
Now, on the food side,
oh, hold on. Was that a edit? What happened?
Time to sit there and look for the organic label on every single thing. If it's in our water supply, this is just really horrifying stuff. Now,
I guess so. He just sat there for a minute. It was just dead air. Thanks for cutting it out. I appreciate it.
The food side of the food and fertilizer crisis. I am not trying to induce any kind of panic or...
Because I don't have the brains to even comprehend the issue. So anybody who would panic based on anything I say probably lives in a constant state of a moronic hamster-like panic anyway. So I couldn't stop you from panicking if I wanted to. What was I talking about?
Hysteria. I'm not a leftist. But the way to alleviate anxiety about a coming problem is to solve the problem.
Ah, I see. What if you can't solve the problem? How do you solve the problem? Don't shit on your food. Okay. Yes. First principles. If there is a turd on your meal, don't eat it, especially if it's uncooked chicken. I just think it's a bad combo.
And we're not solving any problems right now in the...
Yeah, we are.
United States.
Yes, we are. I just pointed out the fact that between the infrastructure bill and the states, specifically a Democrat governor who operates in the state, they are actually long-term working to solve this so that our access to good fertilizer won't disappear and we won't be reliant on anyone else. It's just like the Obama plan that set us on a road to energy independence that just happened to happen while Trump was in office and is back. And, we've maintained since he left.
We're whistling past the graveyard.
That's a phrase he's using that seems to have meaning and offers a poetic answer to the concerns of someone that's watching, as opposed to actually, I guess, asserting. I don't know.
The Guardian. This is from just the other day.
Just the other day.
Millions of tons of grain stuck in Ukraine, says a German UN official.
Yes, but is it covered in poo-poo? Is there wee-wee on it?
Folks, this is huge.
Uh-huh. If that doesn't get here, we're not going to eat. And if we don't eat, we don't shit. And if we don't shit, the plants don't grow. Do you understand?
We are looking at a major international food crisis.
Yeah, we know.
Now, there is a way to fix this problem.
Great. Let's hear it. There's a way to fix this problem. Bongholio knows what it is. Let's hear it.
Immediately.
All right. Immediately. Oh, immediately.
It would be to incentivize the petrochemical industry to...
Oh, incentivize. Incentivize. That sounds like spend taxpayer dollars paying the petrochemical industry to produce potash and other fertilizers, which we're already doing.
Produce more fertilizer to get better yields.
Yeah. Pay them to produce more fertilizer to get better yields. Pay the plants to grow. That's, this is idiocracy. He's the fucking president in idiocracy.
We could do everything we can to open up those ports in Ukraine to make sure at minimum the food can get out. We're not doing that, folks.
Yes, we are. The fuck are you talking about?
We're doing none of it.
What do you mean we're doing none of it? Fucking hell. Like, look, I understand you can disagree with what's being done. You could say strategically we need to focus on something else. Hold on. UN, help. This is from February 19th. USDA head, U.S. farmers to help if Ukraine exports threatened. U.S. Secretary of Agriculture says, under Biden, says that a Russian invasion of Ukraine offers American farmers a chance to boost production and prevent supply chain problems. American wheat farmers will boost production and prevent supply chain problems in the event that a possible Russian invasion of Ukraine chokes off agricultural exports from the global grain powerhouse, the U.S. Secretary of Agriculture said on Saturday. We've already started that process when it looked like they were going to attack. This is before they attacked. Here you go. And she's going to work on fertilizer prices, wheat, corn, and soybean futures leap higher in Chicago. Here you go. And this is a Bloomberg story about this. Hold on. I'm already signed in on this. Hold on. Do I log? Here's the current state of things. Ukraine corn wheat exports will plummet further, U.S. says. U.S. issues forecast as war raises grain fertilizer prices. Wheat, corn, and soybean futures leap higher in Chicago. This is April 8th, 2022. This is right now. The U.S. continued to slash estimates for Ukraine's grain exports as sea routes were curbed following Russia's invasion. Ukraine corn exports will drop by another 4.5 million tons to 23 million tons, and wheat exports by 1 million tons, according to U.S. Department of Agriculture's closely watched World Agricultural Supply and Demand Estimates, the WASDE. Global wheat stockpiles were revised down to 278.4 million tons, less than expected by a Bloomberg survey. Okay, so they were revised down less than they thought they would have to be, but okay. Russia's war in Ukraine is upending trade flows out of the critical Black Sea breadbasket region, prompting warnings of food shortages as crucial supplies of wheat, corn, and cooking oils are at risk. Food prices are surging at a fastest clip ever, worsening world hunger, putting pressure on other big growing areas to produce big crops this year. There's an increased possibility of the conflict getting out of hand again. Peace is not coming anytime soon, said Jack Scoville, analyst of the Price Futures Group in Chicago. Grain and oilseed futures have jumped to record or near record highs and also caused a spike in prices from farm necessities like fertilizer and fuel. Meanwhile, weather woes and inflation in key producers like the U.S. and Brazil are clouding the outlook for the year's crop supplies. While USDA raised its forecast for Brazil's current corn crop more than expected, the real test will unfold over the next several weeks. April is a critical growing period for the grain, and if adequate rains don't arrive in time, it could crimp yields. Most active corn futures in Chicago briefly plunged after the U.S. report hit, but quickly bounced back to settle 1.4% higher at $7.60 plus a barrel, or bushel rather, benchmark wheat rose 3.2% to $10 a bushel. Soybeans jumped 2.6 to $16. Ukrainian crops pile up as war ports close. That's what the takeaway from this thing is. They're just kind of sitting there. Prices have been up prior to the report's release amid news that Russia bombed a major rail evacuation hub in Ukraine, killing dozens of people, sidelining supplies. To see how significantly war is upending crop flows from Ukraine, its corn stockpiles tell the story. The war has left the country saddled with huge amounts of grain that is largely unable to move. With its ports shut, Ukraine is working to ramp up exports via rail, but the flows remain well below the normal seaborne trade. By the way, this stuff is not rotting. They are preserving it. It just doesn't get out as fast. There's a delay on this. The next problem they're going to have is not what they have, but the next crop yield. So other countries are going to have to up their crop yield by about 5%, hopefully, and that will make up for the lost grain worldwide that will present. And so everybody's worried about the next growing months. It's not about what's available now. It's about what might be available. So everybody's kind of kicking in. And by the way, governments all over the world, including ours, are subsidizing fertilizer for everybody. So get the fuck out of here. The chaos in the Black Sea so far hasn't led to a jump in U.S. grain exports, though there were signs of fresh corn demand this week when China scooped up 1.1 million tons, the Asian market's biggest buy in almost a year. Besides the worsening war that's affected Black Sea exports, the report was bearish. Bullish means the market's going to go up, invest. Bearish means the prices are going to go down. Why would the price be going down if we're in a fucking nightmare where we're going to be eating poop instead of real food? Besides the worsening war that's affected Black Sea exports, the report was bearish. According to Naomi Blum, senior market advisor at Total Farm Marketing in Wisconsin, with no changes to U.S. corn reserves, bigger wheat supplies, and a smaller than expected cut in soybean stockpiles. See this stockpile number? The exports have been cut off. The existence has not. And our production is up, as is everybody's. And everybody's going to be making up for this because people are going to need to buy it. Shifts in the soybean markets are also underway. The report raised U.S. exports while lowering shipments out of Brazil as well as Ukraine and Russia. South American soybean crops are down a combined 33 million tons below initial estimates from November, which marks a record loss for the region after a strong drought caused by La Nina weather patterns. That's their output. With the cut in production, the smaller South African exports will drive more demand to the U.S. for summer and early fall. We will be selling more stuff outside the country, and prices will go up for U.S. farmers. We will not experience shortages here, and we are replacing the Russian potash with Michigan, which might be the single biggest potash producer in the world. Fuck you, Bongholio.
And it's one of these things. It reminds me of that movie.
Idiocracy. Idiocracy. That's the movie you're looking for. It's almost like it's the movie that made you feel seen.
What is it? The Brad Pitt zombie movie.
World War Z? What?
Where the guy says, nobody thinks anything's going to happen until it does. World War Z. Sorry, that's right. I've seen that.
What the fuck?
Movie 1,000 times. You think
Really? You've seen that movie 1,000 times. I mean, I enjoyed it, but what the fuck?
Be able to pull that one. Wait, the guy says,
Well, obviously there's shit in your food, so it's affecting your thought process.
Oh, well, what made you think there'd be zombies? He goes, well, no one believed me because no one thinks anything's going to happen until it does.
Yes, nobody believes in zombies until there's lots of them running around, and then all of a sudden they're believers. It's weird how zombies are like that. It's almost as if the entire concept is horseshit until it ain't. Fuck me.
Now, we're not going to have zombies.
Are you sure? Until we do.
But folks, a food crisis, if it hits you, you don't want to be left with that. So, stock up.
Yes. We're back to fucking the beginning of 2020. Fill your basement with fucking cans of beans because Armageddon's coming. And then when it doesn't come, you can go, what are these assholes stocking up on toilet paper for?
Have some items.
Yes, have some items. Stop pretending. This motherfucker, look, we are incredibly fortunate to live in a functioning society, to have the structures that over the years have been put in place to make this country resilient against shit like this. And it's terrifying for people who are in, failed states and shifting boundary type of countries and tribal regions that don't have that security to experience that. But one of the biggest things you can do that clearly shows you to be a prick is to live in this country and pretend you're living in that. So the same assholes are like, we basically live in China. I mean, you get kicked off Twitter just for telling somebody to squirt horse paste on a light bulb and shove it up your ass and call yourself a doctor even though you don't have a degree. It's basically China.
Be prepared. It's a way to reduce the anxiety of a pending problem in the future.
Excuse me, how much shit-covered food am I supposed to keep in my freezer? Good Lord. Oh my God. Can you imagine relying on that fuck for solutions to anything? It's bad enough. Fuck me. It's bad enough he has such a weak grip on reality and poor reading comprehension skills, so that he's looking at these headlines mixed with other like chunks of stories and conflating meaning out of them that is just mind-bogglingly fucking dumb. But then his baseline solutions, or what his perception of the problem is, I mean, this is like, this is one of those guys who hears Winston Churchill's quote, if you're going through hell, keep going, and thinks if you're drowning, swim down. Like that's how Bongholio would interpret that quote. Good fucking Lord. I know, Kath. It's amazing. She's like, he has zero reading comprehension. Zero. It's stunning. I'm amazed that I can still be amazed by this dipshittery.